Have you ever noticed that sometimes, just when you start praying for a new beginning, everything seems to fall apart? The opportunity disappears, someone leaves your life, your plans stop working, and the future suddenly looks more uncertain than ever. You keep making dua, but instead of seeing a door open, it feels like Allah is closing every door in front of you. And you begin to wonder, why is this happening to me? But what if you are looking at it the wrong way? What if some of those closed doors are not signs that Allah has forgotten you, but signs that He is preparing you for something you cannot see yet? Sometimes Allah removes what you were holding on to before He gives you what you were praying for. Sometimes He makes you wait because your heart needs to become stronger. Sometimes He allows you to feel stuck because He is quietly changing something inside you that will matter when the next chapter begins. The problem is, when you are living through the process, you rarely understand what Allah is doing. Think about it. A seed disappears beneath the soil before anyone sees it grow. From the surface, it looks like nothing is happening. But underneath, something is already taking shape. Your life can be the same. You may think nothing is changing, while Allah is preparing you in ways you cannot yet recognize. So if you are currently experiencing delays, rejection, uncertainty, or doors that keep closing, don't assume your story is over. There may be a reason you are being held back right now. There may be something Allah wants to remove, something He wants to teach you, or something He wants to build within you before He gives you what you have been asking for. Because sometimes, before Allah opens a new door, He does something first that most people completely misunderstand. And once you recognize it, you may realize that the door you've been waiting for isn't as far away as you think. Allah often closes the old door first. Sometimes you keep asking Allah for a new beginning, but instead of immediately giving you what you want, Allah allows something in your life to come to an end. A relationship breaks, an opportunity disappears, a plan you were completely confident about suddenly fails, or something you thought would last forever is taken away from you. And in that moment, it is very easy to think, why is Allah doing this to me? But sometimes, what feels like rejection is actually redirection. What feels like the end may simply be Allah moving you away from something that was never meant to be your destination. Look at the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. His life seemed to fall apart one door at a time. His own brothers betrayed him and threw him into a well. He was separated from his father, taken to a foreign land, and later imprisoned despite being innocent. If Yusuf alayhi salam had judged his situation only by what he could see, he might have believed that his future was disappearing. But Allah was working through every closed door. The well was not the end of his story. The slavery was not the end. Even the prison was not the end. Each painful chapter was quietly moving him toward the position Allah had already prepared for him. And this is something we often forget in our own lives. We see the door closing, but we cannot see what Allah is preparing beyond it. Imagine someone standing outside a room, desperately trying to force open a door that has been locked. They keep pushing, knocking, and asking why nobody is letting them inside. But they don't realize that behind them, another door has already opened. They simply cannot see it because they are still emotionally attached to the door that closed. Maybe that is what is happening in your life right now. Maybe Allah is removing something you keep trying to hold on to because He knows it cannot take you where you are meant to go. So when something leaves your life, don't immediately assume that Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes Allah closes the old door because staying there would prevent you from walking toward the new one. The closed door may not be your punishment. It may be your preparation. And sometimes, before Allah opens the door you have been praying for, He first gives you the courage to walk away from the door you thought you needed. Before the new door opens, Allah may test your patience. There is a stage in life where you have made dua, you have tried your best, and yet nothing seems to change. You keep waiting for the answer, but the situation stays the same. This is where many people become discouraged, because they assume that if Allah has not opened the door yet, perhaps the answer is no. But sometimes, the waiting itself is part of what Allah is doing inside you. Before giving you something greater, Allah may first teach you how to carry it. Think about Prophet Musa alayhi salam. When he left Egypt, he found himself in a completely unfamiliar place with no wealth, no position, and no clear idea of what would happen next. He helped 2 women at the well, and eventually found shelter and work in Madian. What looked like a major setback became a period of preparation. Allah was taking Musa alayhi salam away from the life he knew, and preparing him for a mission far greater than anything he could have imagined at that moment. Sometimes your waiting period is doing the same thing for you. You are asking Allah for the opportunity, the marriage, the success, the breakthrough, or the new beginning. But Allah may be preparing you before He gives you it. Because if the blessing arrives before you are ready for it, the very thing you prayed for could become a test you cannot handle. So don't despise the season where nothing seems to be happening. Your life may look still on the outside while Allah is doing some of His deepest work within you. Imagine a seed buried beneath the soil. For days, sometimes weeks, there is nothing visible above the ground. If you looked at it from the surface, you might think nothing is happening. But underneath, roots are forming, strengthening, and preparing the seed for the moment it finally breaks through the soil. Your waiting season may be like that seed. You may not see the growth yet, but that does not mean Allah is not preparing something. So if you have been waiting for a door to open, don't waste the waiting by constantly asking, when? Ask instead, what is Allah preparing me for? Because sometimes the delay is not Allah withholding your blessing. Sometimes the delay is Allah making sure that when the door finally opens, you are strong enough, wise enough, and spiritually ready to walk through it. Allah may remove your comfort before He gives you growth. Sometimes the reason a new door has not opened is because Allah is first taking you out of a place that has made you too comfortable. We naturally become attached to familiar things. Even when something is not good for us, we can become afraid to leave it, because at least we know what to expect. But Allah may disturb that comfort, because He knows that if everything remains easy, you may never discover the strength, faith, or potential He has placed inside you. Think about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was commanded to leave his people and separate himself from the environment he had known. Imagine how difficult that must have been. He was leaving behind familiarity, security, and the people around him. Yet that separation became part of an extraordinary journey through which Allah raised his status and made him a lasting example of faith and submission. What looked like loss from the outside was actually movement towards something much greater. You may experience a smaller version of this in your own life. Maybe suddenly you lose a job you depended on, a friendship changes, a plan collapses, or you find yourself in a completely unfamiliar situation. At first, all you can see is what you have lost. But months later, you may look back and realize that losing that thing forced you to learn something you would never have learned otherwise. A person who loses one opportunity may finally discover another path. Someone who leaves an unhealthy environment may finally find peace. Someone who is forced to start again may eventually build a life far better than the one they were desperately trying to protect. There is a difference between losing your comfort and losing Allah's care. Sometimes Allah allows your comfort to disappear, precisely because He wants to move you forward. The unfamiliar road may feel frightening, but it can also be the road that takes you toward the door you have been praying for. So if life feels uncomfortable right now, don't immediately run back to what Allah may be asking you to leave behind. Trust Him, take the next step, and remember that sometimes Allah makes you uncomfortable in the old place, because the new door is already waiting somewhere ahead. Allah may make you feel completely stuck before the breakthrough. There is a particular kind of trial that can be more difficult than pain itself. The feeling that nothing is changing. You are making dua, you are trying to improve yourself, you are taking whatever steps you can take, and yet your situation seems frozen. You look around and see other people moving forward, while you feel as if you are standing in the exact same place. You begin asking yourself whether Allah has heard you, whether your dua is being accepted, whether your efforts matter, and whether the future you are hoping for will ever actually arrive. But sometimes, what you interpret as being stuck is actually a period of hidden preparation. Allah may allow you to reach a point where your own plans, strength, and understanding are no longer enough, because He wants you to learn a deeper form of reliance upon Him. We often imagine that when Allah is about to change our circumstances, everything should suddenly become easier. We expect signs, opportunities, immediate answers, and a clear path forward. But Allah does not always work according to the timeline we create in our minds. Sometimes the path becomes quieter before it becomes clearer. Sometimes your options become fewer before the right option appears. Sometimes you reach a point where you genuinely do not know what to do next. And that uncertainty becomes the very thing that brings your heart closer to Allah. You stop relying on your ability to control every outcome, and you begin relying upon the one who controls every outcome. This is one of the hardest lessons of Tawakkul. Tawakkul does not mean that you understand what Allah is doing. It means that you continue trusting Him, even when you do not understand it. There will be moments when you cannot see the wisdom behind what is happening. You may have prayed for something for months or even years, and instead of receiving it, you seem to move further away from it. You may have worked hard for an opportunity, only to watch someone else receive it. You may have thought a particular path was meant for you, only for that path to become completely blocked. In those moments, the human mind wants an explanation immediately, but faith sometimes asks you to continue walking before the explanation arrives. Remember that Allah sees the entire road while you only see the few steps directly in front of you. You might look at your current circumstances and conclude that nothing is happening, while Allah may already be arranging circumstances that you cannot see. A conversation that has not happened yet, a person you have not met yet, an opportunity that does not exist yet, a lesson you have not learned yet, or a change within yourself that still needs time to develop, may all be connected to what comes next. You are looking at one chapter and trying to understand the entire story, while Allah knows the beginning, the middle, and the ending. This is why impatience can become dangerous during a waiting season. When we become desperate for the door to open, we can start forcing doors that Allah never intended us to enter. We accept things that damage our peace because we are afraid nothing better will come. We compromise our values because we think we have to take whatever opportunity appears. We become attached to people simply because we are afraid of being alone. We chase money, status, relationships, or recognition because we believe that if we can just obtain one particular thing, everything inside us will finally feel settled. But sometimes, the closed door is protecting you from the consequences of entering too soon. You have to understand that a delay is not necessarily a denial. There is a difference between Allah saying, "This is not for you," and Allah saying, "Not yet." And there are times when you cannot immediately know which one it is. That is why your responsibility is not to predict the future. Your responsibility is to remain faithful in the present. Make the dua. Take the lawful means. Improve yourself. Keep working. Keep praying. Keep asking Allah for what is good, while remaining willing to accept whatever He ultimately chooses. Perhaps this is where many people misunderstand the idea of a breakthrough. They imagine the breakthrough as the moment when the external situation suddenly changes. But sometimes the greatest breakthrough happens inside you first. You become calmer. You stop needing to control everything. You become less desperate for people's approval. You stop chasing what keeps running away from you. You begin accepting that Allah's timing is wiser than your urgency. And once your heart reaches that point, you are able to receive blessings without allowing those blessings to control you. So if you feel stuck right now, do not assume that your story has stopped. A seed beneath the soil looks completely inactive, but beneath the surface, an entire process is taking place. In the same way, there may be things happening in your life that you simply cannot see yet. The silence does not mean Allah is absent. The delay does not mean your dua was ignored. The closed path does not mean there is no destination. Sometimes Allah brings you to the point where you have nothing left to hold on to except Him, not because He wants to break you, but because He wants to teach you where your real strength comes from. And when that lesson becomes part of you, you are no longer the same person who first asked for the door to open. So keep going, even when you cannot see movement. Keep making dua, even when the answer feels far away. Keep trusting Allah, even when the path makes no sense. Because sometimes the longest silence comes immediately before the clearest answer. And sometimes the moment you think nothing is happening is the moment Allah is preparing everything. Allah may change you before He changes your life. Sometimes we become so focused on asking Allah to change our circumstances that we forget to ask Him to change us. We want the new job, the better relationship, the financial breakthrough, the peaceful home, the opportunity we have been waiting for, or the answer to a dua that has been sitting in our heart for years. We keep asking Allah to open the door, but we rarely stop and ask ourselves whether we are ready for what is behind that door. Because sometimes the greatest thing Allah does before changing your life is changing the person who will live that new life. Think about how different your life would be if you received everything you wanted exactly when you wanted it. Would you have the patience to handle it? Would you remain humble when people began praising you? Would money make you more grateful or more arrogant? Would success bring you closer to Allah or make you forget Him? Would the relationship you prayed for become a source of peace, or would you bring the same insecurities, fears, and unhealthy habits into it? We often think that the blessing itself will solve our problems, but a blessing cannot automatically fix a heart that has not learned how to carry it. This is why some delays are deeply personal. Allah may be working on your character before He works on your circumstances. You may be asking for a position, while Allah is teaching you responsibility. You may be asking for wealth, while Allah is teaching you contentment. You may be asking for love, while Allah is teaching you emotional maturity. You may be asking for influence, while Allah is teaching you humility. You may be asking for freedom, while Allah is teaching you discipline. You may be asking for a peaceful life, while Allah is teaching you how to create peace within yourself through obedience, patience, gratitude, and trust. And this process can be uncomfortable, because real transformation usually does not feel like transformation while it is happening. It can feel like frustration. It can feel like losing people. It can feel like being forced to confront parts of yourself that you would rather ignore. You may begin noticing your impatience, your attachment to people's approval, your fear of being rejected, your dependence on worldly things, or the way your nafs constantly demands immediate satisfaction. These discoveries may hurt, but they can also be signs that Allah is allowing you to see what needs to change before you enter the next chapter of your life. Sometimes you keep asking, why hasn't Allah opened the door? When perhaps another question is more important. Who do I need to become before I walk through it? That question changes everything. Instead of spending all your energy trying to force circumstances, you begin working on yourself. You strengthen your salah. You become more consistent with dua. You learn to control your anger. You stop chasing people who do not value you. You become more careful about what enters your heart and your mind. You learn to let go of what Allah has already removed. You become less dependent on validation and more dependent on Allah. Slowly, without even realizing it, you become prepared for something greater. There is also something beautiful about the way Allah can use difficult seasons to prepare a person. The struggles you wish had never happened may eventually become the experiences that give you wisdom. The rejection that wounded your confidence may teach you that your worth was never dependent on someone's acceptance. The period of loneliness may teach you how to find peace without constantly needing someone's presence. The financial difficulty may teach you gratitude for things you previously considered ordinary. The failure may teach you humility and patience. The unanswered dua may teach you that worshiping Allah cannot be dependent on receiving exactly what you ask for. And this is where you begin to understand the deeper meaning behind the new door. The new door is not always simply about getting something you want. Sometimes Allah is preparing you for a responsibility, a test, a purpose, or a level of life that requires a stronger version of you. If He gives you the blessing before you are ready, the blessing itself can become a burden. But when the heart has been prepared, the same blessing can become a means of gratitude and closeness to Allah. This is why you should not compare your timeline with someone else's. You may look at another person and wonder why their door opened years before yours. They got married. They became successful. They found their purpose. They built something meaningful. Their life seems to be moving while yours seems to be waiting. But you do not know what Allah is preparing in your own story. Two people can receive similar blessings at completely different times because they are not carrying the same journey. Allah knows what each person needs, what each person can handle, and what each person is being prepared for. Sometimes the delay is mercy because you are not ready yet. Sometimes the person you are asking for would have distracted you from Allah if they arrived too early. Sometimes the money you want would have changed your character if you received it before learning contentment. Sometimes the success you are chasing would have fed your ego instead of your purpose. Sometimes Allah delays the blessing because He loves you enough to prepare your heart before placing something valuable in your hands. And when you begin seeing your waiting season this way, you stop wasting it. You stop saying, "My life will begin when the door opens." You realize that your life is already happening. This season matters. Your character is being built right now. Your relationship with Allah is being strengthened right now. Your habits are being formed right now. Your patience is being tested right now. Your heart is learning right now. The person who walks through the future door will be shaped by what you choose to do while you are waiting outside it. So continue making dua, but while you are asking Allah to open the door, ask Him to prepare you for what is behind it. Say, in your own words, "Ya Allah, if this is good for me, bring it closer to me, and make me capable of carrying it in a way that pleases you. And if you are preparing something better, give me the patience to wait for it without losing faith." Because sometimes Allah's answer to your dua begins long before you can see the answer. It begins with a change in your heart, a change in your priorities, a change in your character, and a change in the way you see your life. You may think Allah is delaying your blessing, while He is actually preparing the person who will receive it. And one day, when the door finally opens, you may look back at everything that happened before it and realize something powerful. Allah wasn't just preparing the door for you, He was preparing you for the door. That is why you should not give up simply because you cannot see the breakthrough yet. Keep walking, keep praying, keep growing, keep trusting. You may be much closer than you think, and the things happening in your life right now may be preparing the exact version of you that will be ready when Allah finally says, "Now." Conclusion. If there is one thing I want you to remember from this entire message, it is this: do not mistake a closed door for the end of your story. Sometimes Allah closes a door because He knows where that road would have taken you. Sometimes He delays the blessing because He is preparing you to carry it. Sometimes He allows you to feel stuck because He is strengthening something inside you that you will need for the next chapter. You may not understand what is happening right now, and that is okay. You do not need to see the entire plan to trust the one who created it. Your responsibility is to keep making dua, keep taking the right steps, keep improving yourself, and keep your heart attached to Allah even when the answer seems delayed. Maybe the thing you lost was protection. Maybe the delay was preparation. Maybe the rejection was redirection. Maybe the season you thought was destroying you was actually building you for something greater. So don't keep staring at the door that closed. Take a breath, trust Allah, and keep walking. Because you never know what Allah is arranging beyond your current situation. The door you have been praying for may already be closer than you realize. But before you walk through it, Allah may be preparing you to become the person who can handle everything waiting on the other side. The door may be closed right now, but that doesn't mean it will stay closed forever. Keep your faith, keep your patience, and keep moving toward Allah. Because when Allah opens the right door, you will understand why He never allowed you to enter the wrong one. And if you are currently waiting for your door to open, remember this: Allah's timing is never late. Sometimes, the waiting is part of the blessing.